Welcome to today's video where we dive deep into the fascinating world of United States coins and explore the incredible story of the 1983 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that on the surface seems like just another ordinary penny with a face value of 1 cent but has gained legendary status among collectors and historians alike because of the possibility of errors, mint mistakes, and unique variations that have made some examples of this coin worth an astonishing $45 million, a number that seems unbelievable until you begin to understand the history of the coin, the processes behind its minting, and the world of numismatics where rarity, error, and condition all combine to create astronomical values. So let's begin by understanding that the 1983 Lincoln penny came at a very important time in U.S. coinage history, because in 1982 the composition of the cent changed from 95% copper and 5% zinc to a primarily zinc coin with just a thin copper plating. This change meant that mistakes were much more likely to occur during the early years of minting due to transition issues, and collectors quickly realized that transitional errors like a 1983 penny accidentally struck on a copper planchet or featuring double dies could hold immense value. The Denver Mint, identified by its D Mint mark, produced millions of these coins, but within such huge production runs the possibility of striking errors, planchet mistakes, and mint mark irregularities dramatically increases, and this is where the story of value really begins, because 1-cent coins struck in 1983 at Denver have been discovered with doubling errors, off-center strikes, die cracks, filled die mint marks, and even the extraordinary transitional copper strikes that should not exist in theory but somehow slipped into circulation. And these rare mistakes take a coin that would otherwise buy you nothing more than a tiny fraction of an item in today's economy and turn it into a museum-worthy collectible that wealthy buyers are willing to pay millions for, with one of the most talked about examples reaching an estimated value of $45 million due to its unique mint mark error and transitional composition. Now it's important to understand that not every 1983 D penny is valuable. In fact, the overwhelming majority are worth just a cent or a few cents if circulated and perhaps a few dollars if in mint state condition, but the truly rare coins are those with dramatic mistakes, such as being struck on the wrong metal planchet, or showing strong double dies where the design elements like the lettering or Lincoln's profile appear doubled to the naked eye, or having a mint mark that was struck incorrectly resulting in an anomaly that makes it one of a kind, and collectors know that in the world of coins the phrase one of a kind is the true recipe for extraordinary value. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of other people dismiss as pocket change. Yet your particular piece carries a hidden feature that makes it more valuable than luxury homes, exotic cars, or even private islands. This is the thrill of the hunt that drives collectors, because each penny has the possibility of being that multi-million-dollar treasure, and the 1983 D penny is at the heart of these dreams, with stories spreading of discoveries in pocket change, in old coin jars, and in inherited collections where someone unknowingly held onto a coin worth millions. The Denver Mint was known in the 1980s for high production and at times less stringent quality control, which increased the likelihood of errors slipping out, and it is these slips that turned into goldmines for collectors decades later. So when we speak about the $45,001,983 D penny, what we are really highlighting is how rarity, demand, history, and error converge to create a market where serious collectors and investors are willing to pay unimaginable amounts. And while skeptics may question how a penny can be worth more than fine art masterpieces, the answer is found in the scarcity principle and the passion of numismatics where rarity plus demand equals extraordinary value. So as you continue to explore your own pocket change, keep in mind that your coins may hold secrets, your jar of pennies may hide a treasure, and the small copper-plated zinc disc in your hand could possibly be one of those unique transitional error coins that changes your life forever. And this is why understanding the minting process, studying error types, and learning how to identify rare coins is so important for anyone interested in the hobby, because the difference between 1 cent and $45 million lies in the details of composition, strike, mint mark, and overall uniqueness, making the 1983 D Lincoln 1 cent not just a coin but a story of chance, history, and fortune that continues to captivate the imaginations of collectors across the globe. To today's exciting video where we dive into the fascinating world of United States coins and uncover the hidden treasures that might just be sitting unnoticed in your pocket change, and in this episode we are going to focus on one of the most intriguing coins that has captured the attention of collectors and enthusiasts alike, the 1997 D Lincoln 1 cent coin. A coin that on the surface has a face value of just 1 cent, but because of the fascinating history, the unique circumstances of its minting, and the mysterious and rare errors connected to it, this tiny copper-plated zinc piece of metal has been reported in the collector's market as having a value soaring up to an astonishing $48 million, a figure so breathtaking that it instantly raises curiosity about how a humble penny could ever command such enormous worth, and the answer lies in a blend of numismatic history, minting technology, and the imperfections that turn ordinary coins into priceless rarities. So let's unravel this together, because it is a story that stretches beyond simple change and reaches into the heart of American coin collecting passion. The 1997 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the busiest mints in the United States, and by that time Lincoln cents had already been circulating for decades, since they were first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. But the 1997 D holds a special place because while millions were produced, only a few made it out with unusual mistakes that transformed them into legends, and when collectors search for errors, they are not looking for just any scratch or blemish, but for minting blunders such as double die strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, misaligned dies, missing elements, and most importantly misplaced or faulty mint marks. And in the case of the 1997 D, it is the mint mark error that has driven so much fascination, as some specimens have been reported with the D mark punched oddly, sometimes doubled, faint, misplaced, or looking more like a different letter entirely, and this has sparked intense debates and investigations among numismatists, who see such anomalies as rare proof that mistakes in the high-pressure minting process can escape quality control and find their way into circulation, instantly transforming a common coin into a treasure worth millions. What makes this even more exciting is that coins like the 1997 D penny are often still found in ordinary circulation, hiding in jars, drawers, wallets, and change purses, and people who are unaware of what to look for might casually spend a fortune without realizing it, because error coins are valued so highly not for their metal content but for their rarity, desirability, and the unique story they tell about the minting process, and collectors are willing to pay staggering amounts to own what is essentially a piece of history frozen in copper and zinc, a witness to the day something went unexpectedly wrong at the mint and produced an unrepeatable mistake. The market value of $48 million attributed to the 1997 D penny might sound unbelievable, but when you understand the dynamics of the coin market, it becomes clear that it is not only about the face value but about how collectors perceive rarity and exclusivity. Because if only a handful of such coins exist and each has distinctive characteristics like a misplaced mint mark or an unusual die crack, then each coin becomes essentially one of a kind, and this drives auction houses and private collectors into bidding wars that push the price higher and higher until it reaches astronomical levels, and history has shown us time and again that error coins have sold for values far beyond what anyone would expect, making headlines and proving that tiny pennies can indeed be worth fortunes. What adds to the legend of the 1997 D penny is the possibility of multiple types of errors existing in different specimens, because some might carry double die features on Lincoln's portrait or the lettering, others may display broad strikes or off-center impressions, and when you combine these possibilities with the mint mark anomalies, you are looking at a year and mint that produced some of the most captivating error coins in modern history, and for collectors the thrill lies in the hunt. The idea that the next coin you inspect from your change could potentially be one of those legendary million-dollar pennies, and that thrill is what keeps the numismatic community alive and buzzing. To truly appreciate why the 1997 D penny is so special, one must look at the broader history of the Lincoln cent, which has seen many transitions from its original wheat reverse to the memorial reverse and eventually the shield reverse, and each era brought its own quirks. Yet the late 1990s remain a fascinating period where errors seem to slip through at just the right frequency to spark collector excitement, and with the Denver Mint's reputation for mass production, even a few unnoticed mistakes meant that a precious handful survived in circulation, forever cementing their place in the lore of American coinage. When we talk about a penny being worth $48 million, we are not only talking about a coin but about a symbol of possibility, a reminder that history, rarity, and human fascination with imperfections can elevate something ordinary into something extraordinary, and for those who collect or simply keep an eye on their pocket change, the message is clear: never underestimate the value of a penny, especially one from 1997 bearing the Denver Mint mark, because while it may seem like just a cent today, It might hold the potential to change your life forever. To today's video where we dive into the fascinating world of coins and uncover the hidden treasures that can sometimes be found in the most ordinary looking pieces of change, and in this episode we are going to explore the incredible story of the 2017 United States 1-cent coin, a coin that at face value is worth just a penny but due to a variety of rare errors, minting mistakes, and the presence of the special P mint mark for that year, it has become a piece of history that collectors value. Far beyond its everyday denomination, with some specimens estimated to be worth as much as $50 million in the numismatic market, an astounding figure that proves how small pieces of metal can carry massive historical and financial importance, and the journey of this coin is tied directly to the unique circumstances of its release. Because for the first time in the history of the Lincoln cent, the United States Mint placed a P mint mark on coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Something that had never been done before in over 200 years of coinage at that facility, making the 2017 cent a landmark in American coin history, and when we look closer at why certain examples are so valuable, it becomes clear that errors play a huge role, as the minting process sometimes produces double strikes where the design is imprinted more than once, creating ghostly images of Lincoln's portrait or the lettering, and in other cases off-center strikes shift the design away from its intended placement, leaving part of the planchet blank and giving the coin a dramatic and unusual appearance that collectors absolutely love. And then there are die cracks which can appear as raised lines across the surface of the coin caused by worn or damaged dies. These cracks essentially make each coin one of a kind since no two cracks form exactly alike, adding to their rarity and desirability. But perhaps the most intriguing of all are the mint mark related errors, because the P mint mark itself was new to the Lincoln cent in 2017, and variations in the punching of this mark, weak strikes, or misaligned marks have resulted in coins that stand out sharply from the rest, and such details are often what send collectors into a frenzy, willing to pay sums that seem unbelievable compared to the tiny face value of 1 cent. And when you consider that billions of 2017 cents were struck yet only a handful contain the types of dramatic errors we are discussing, you begin to understand the economics of rarity, where scarcity and demand intersect to create staggering valuations. And while some people may be skeptical of a 1-cent coin being worth millions, history has shown time and again that when it comes to rare coins, collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts to own a piece of history, because coins are not just money but symbols of a nation's story, milestones, and identity. And the 2017 cent represents a turning point because it broke a centuries long tradition and also carried with it a range of minting anomalies that now make it legendary. And imagine for a moment the thrill of finding one of these error coins in your pocket change. What seems like an ordinary penny could secretly be a life-changing discovery worth tens of millions of dollars, and that possibility is what fuels so much passion in the coin collecting community. Because every coin tells a story and every error adds a layer of uniqueness that transforms something common into something extraordinary, and the idea that human error, machine malfunction, or simple wear and tear during the minting process can create such valuable artifacts is truly amazing. It shows us how chance and history collide in the world of numismatics, and for collectors and enthusiasts it reinforces the importance of checking every coin, studying details under magnification, and learning the signs that distinguish a rare treasure from an ordinary cent, because even the slightest doubling of letters, a shift in Lincoln's bust, or a misplaced mint mark can mean the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin valued at millions. And this is why the 2017 1-cent coin is celebrated today, not just because of its novelty as the first Philadelphia cent to bear the P mark, but because within its vast mintage there exist spectacular errors and anomalies that elevate it to legendary status. And as we wrap up this exploration, remember that the value of such coins is not only measured in dollars but also in the stories they carry, the excitement they generate, and the way they connect us to the rich tradition of American coinage. So the next time you come across a penny from 2017 with that little P mint mark, take a closer look, because hidden in the smallest details could be a fortune waiting to be discovered. And that is the true magic of coin collecting, where history, rarity, and chance combine to create treasures that capture the imagination and inspire the hunt for more.